Hello everybody, hope you're doing well. Today I thought we'd talk a little bit about the iRacing and Original Fire Games partnership that was announced this past summer, 2024, and the working title of iRacing Arcade. I didn't really make a video about it when it first released, which always kind of irked me. It came during a busy time and it never really happened, so we're talking about it now. I don't really have too much new news, really, about it. Well, I don't have any new news about it, because we haven't really received too much, but it's still fun to talk about what could be, what you want to see in it, and what we do know so far. Basically, in summer of 2024, they announced that iRacing is going to be partnering with Original Fire Games. They're not purchasing Circuit Superstars, but they're going to be making a brand new title based off the infrastructure of Circuit Superstars, which, honestly, as a huge fan of the game, that makes me happy. I would love to see even a spiritual successor to Circuit Superstars in some way. And if they're going to be utilizing, the basis behind that game. Wow, huge wreck. Oh, who was that? Palazola. Hope he's all right. Oh, we got a lot of damage in front of us. This is going to be interesting talking while also racing here. Lots of smoke going on. But yeah, they're going to be, let's go over some of the details they said are going to be in the game. They want to make based off the infrastructure in Circuit Superstars Plus, they want to make a more diverse experience, or an in-depth experience, which could mean a few things. The variety experience, meaning hopefully that means we're going to see a bunch of cars return, like Circuit Superstars had, which I think was a big component to like how fresh and how long that game lasted in terms of playability. Like being able to mix up the tracks and the settings and the various cars. You could be racing F1 with your friends one lobby, and then the next lobby you're setting up a race for super trucks on a rally course or an oval. Like, it was just, the variety was awesome. I loved creating different fun, like, what do you want to realistically race, or you wanted to have like a fun, revert people, some people driving reverse and some others driving the big bonk truck or something like that. Like, you could just have so much fun in the kind of like a racing sandbox, and I love that aspect, and I hope some form of that returns in the next game. I think that really adds to the replayability, especially if you got, I got a pit for fuel, especially if you have a game that, whether they don't have modding or not, or whatever that's going to be. In terms of, well, let's continue with what they were talking about in their release. They said they want to have more in-depth experience. So does that mean more stats? Like, that was something I felt like was missing. Oh, some contact ahead was missing from the previous game. And it kind of ties into the next part. So they have a career mode listed in their release. Now, I hope that's actually a career mode where you have like a season and you're trying to advance, like from a lower series, you finish top 5 or something, then hey, you're going to join in on the actual legit season of this next series. I hope it isn't just like an unlock tree. Like, I don't count that as a career mode. Like, I don't know how to better explain it, but I hope it's just not like an unlock tree where you're doing like boss battles back and forth to unlock things, and it's actually like you're racing seasons and trying to improve, and you're meeting a whole new set of drivers, kind of like when you up the difficulty in this one. Like, we're on Master right now, so we see Maya Sofer and Hashim and Davis and stuff like that when you see other names at the lower level. I always kind of like that. Along with that career mode though, but I hope that there's stats, and like if there's a career mode or season mode or whatever, that you have like a table of like, they have this many top 5s, they have this many podiums or whatever, qualifying, along with their points, and how many fast laps they earned during a season. Like, that kind of stuff is cool, and I think could play a nice role into a career mode, for example. They want something I thought was cool in the iRacing part of the release was that they said they enjoyed Circuit Superstars and they played it, and their description of it was that it's fun, very high quality, and the driving's great. 3 things they always want in their games, which I agree. I think Circuit Superstars nailed all of that. Obviously, there's always things you can improve, which I'm going to get to a little later on in terms of like maybe iRacing helps them with the net code and so on, but yeah, I think them building off the infrastructure is pretty cool. Man, this is tough to think about talking points while also driving, so bear with me if I'm going back and forth. Um, I think it's been interesting seeing iRacing kind of branch out in terms of like the Simcade arcade releases. Like, obviously, they had Exocross, which almost in my eyes was almost like a practice run just to see how that would go. And then they also had the World of Outlaws series, which I think has been fantastic. I really like that game. I bought both versions of it, and I think it's a nice balance of Simcade, where like it's a game that I could come home after a long day and still feel like I'm racing hard, racing competitive, and have a season that I'm building upon, but I'm also not having to use my entire brain power like I would in an iRacing official, for example. So I hope that kind of vibe carries over. And the fact that they said this is going to be aimed toward drivers of all ages, I hope means that they're going to somehow capture a little bit of that Simcade. I hope it doesn't mean it's going to go overly arcade and have like goofy characters and all of that. I don't see why it would go that direction, but yeah, I hope some of the charm of Circuit Superstars carries over in that regard, like the balance of this. And that leads to a whole nother question of what could be. Now, this is going to be up for debate amongst the community and what you all want to see in the game too. Like, me personally, I would love to see it top down. I think that this was a unique experience Circuit Superstars brought, where like a lot of the other top down races I've played, it always feels like you're driving around like a piece of plastic and it's bouncing up off the ground. Like, it doesn't feel heavy. Like in Circuit Superstars, I feel like I'm whipping around a race car around this track. Like, the tires are actually stuck to the ground. I'm seeing the rubber build up on the track, which make it just like the whole aspect of it visually and the feel of the car. It feels like I'm actually throwing a race car around. And I think that being a top-down situation, it was just a really cool way to stand out in the racing world of games. I'm a little nervous that if it goes another route, whether it's first person or behind the view, that it could get lost in that regard. But along those same lines, if it does go like the Karting Superstar style, which I'm going to play on the second half of this video, which was their second game that unfortunately didn't get enough time to cook, but we'll get to that later. I think that game had a lot of potential and was a lot of fun. And it was cool seeing the perspective switch to the back view. So even if it does go that route, as long as like the charm of Circuit Superstars carry over, I'm sure it'll be a fun game still. It's just me personally, I'd really love to see top down. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see in that regards. Would you like to see top down? Would you like to see more like the Karting Superstar camera, which again you'll see later in this video, or what? Will iRacing help with the netcode? So, like, we had online racing, which honestly I felt was pretty good, especially for a first release for this studio, for Original Fire Games. I thought it was pretty awesome. The problem was we got a good portion of the community, like the competitive scene in Circuit Superstars, was actually pretty good. Like, there were some major leagues going on, and it was it kind of pointed to some of the limitations of the game in terms of the online play. Like, they're little cars in the top-down view, and once a certain amount of people get so good, they're going to nail their laps over and over and over and over again, right? And you're looking for the smallest mistake to kind of stick your nose in there or whatever. Problem is, you could not follow right on someone's bumper or whatever, because the netcode on their screen would have you absolutely wrecking them, like you're trying to murder them into the fence, and on your screen, you're not even touching them, right? So it just kind of caused an issue in terms of legitimate racing and, you know, being able to actually take advantage of people's mistakes. And like, you'd spend after the races trying to figure out if someone was actually not racing fairly or if it was netcode. It was just, yeah. But with iRacing's experience on the iRacing platform, I'm hoping that maybe that comes over, and it sounds like in the release that's kind of like part of it. Part of the whole deal here is that maybe they share some technology, and I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Graphically, again, I think Circuit Superstars is an absolutely beautiful game, and I would love to see that art style come back. Maybe obviously it's going to look like its own game, and there's some things I would definitely love to see maybe a little different. Like, even if it's iRacing, maybe it goes like for a little bit more of a realistic look. And that doesn't mean that we're getting rid of like these character models or whatever, but even just the color grading, like maybe adding a little bit more of a blue filter to this just to make the colors look a little bit more realistic on site. Maybe in editing, I'll even try to do a little bit, but I don't even know if I can or not. But yeah, just a little bit of a difference in you know, how the colors look and all of that. Maybe the crowd. I think the scaling was pretty fun in this, and the track sizes were pretty good. So again, that all honestly depends on top down versus like follow camera and so on. I did awful in this race because it was very hard to pay attention to racing and also, you know, go over my talking points. But there you go. Forgive me. All right, we finished 10th. Don't look at it. Don't look at the screen. Congratulations to Farid Hashim. Did we? Oh yeah, Palazola, man, a lap down. He had a rough wreck at the start of that race. Back to our conversation though. But yeah, netcode. Is there going to be licensed cars? So iRacing has obviously their whole platform where they have licensed cars and so on. Will those carry over to the game? Like, what type of game is this going to be? Is it going to be like Karting Superstars where there's one vehicle? I think in their release, they already kind of make that point that it's not going to be. I'm going to switch over to the Karting Superstars real quick. Here we go. We're in Karting Superstars now. What was I talking about? Licensing. So are we going to have licensed cars, licensed tracks? I thought that Circuit Superstars did a good job of balancing that realistic track versus made-up track kind of a thing. Like there was tracks that kind of like Sugar Hill definitely is like Watkins Glen, for example, and so on. So I think that was some stuff that they could play around with if the licensing would make it too expensive. If it's arcade, like if it's called iRacing Arcade, I don't think we need the licensing stuff in there. I think they did a great job of providing a variety of cars that kind of match real life stuff without it. But yeah, I guess that also depends on how close to the car you are. Top down, I don't think it matters as much. If you're up close to the car, you're looking at it the whole time. It might play a little bit more of a role for people. But we're in Karting Superstars now. If you haven't seen this game, this was the second attempt by Original Fire Games. Unfortunately, this one didn't get as much time to cook. Are we qualifying right now? Okay. I didn't know I set qualifying. There was a lot of potential in this game. Unfortunately, pit stops didn't carry over, so I hope whatever iRacing Arcade is brings over the pit stops. I felt like that was a big part of the experience. Like, I really liked this game. I thought the driving was really fun for Simcade-ish karting, but it was missing, even though the pit stops aren't really a thing with the karting, like they are, but it's not like, you know, a NASCAR pit stop, for example, I guess. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like, you can switch out drivers when they have enduro races and stuff, but I feel like the pit stops were missed in terms of the strategy gameplay with the tires and damage. And damage also kind of keeps people honest, too. So, yeah, having it there, I feel like it was important. I know they have the push-to-pass button where the driver ducks their head, and here to add a little bit of strategy, but pit stops were definitely missed. Oh, I didn't even realize that the tire marks from qualifying stayed there. That's cool. Never realized that before. Interesting. But, yeah, again, what do you think? Top-down or, like, this style view? I feel like I personally would like to see another top-down, but I would not be disappointed with it. I think Karting Superstars had a lot of potential, is a lot of fun. Like, I still have fun jumping into it to race the AI, or I wish more people had it to race against. But, yeah, I would not be disappointed if it's like this. And I think this is a beautiful game as well, and it's built off the infrastructure of Circuit Superstars, just like the release. So, I wonder if this game almost made it stand out enough where they're like, wow, we could do something with this. And this was kind of what led to the deal. Who knows? They didn't mention it in that release. They mentioned Circuit Superstars. So, yeah. But maybe this is the route it's going. Because I could see this turning into like a community racing thing. This is like, it kind of teaches you some of the fundamentals of sim racing a little bit without being an actual simulator. For like younger fans and stuff. Like you could learn how to race a little cleanly as I knock somebody out of the way and I don't know, and take cornering and all that. So I think this potentially could fall into the category of what they're looking for, but we'll see. Again, we don't have any information to go off of. In terms of what I'd want to see in if they do the career mode, I hope there's a little bit of story to it. And I'm not talking about prefabricated story. I'm talking about helping us, like, ooh, there's a wreck back there. Helping us move along our own storylines. Because storylines happen naturally in racing and sports games. And I think games used to do a great job of that. Like, I'm thinking back to, and this is going to be kind of old school, so bear with me. But, like, even, like, the old NCAA football games, they used to have magazine covers, right? I would be so pumped to see if our player was going to make the magazine cover as, like, a small school. And they're not, like, images from within the game. They're, like, predetermined images of them holding a football or throwing a football or whatever. But, like, they already have the uniform. You already have the car colors in this game. You load them in and make, like, a cover of the driver. He's like, so-and-so just took over the points lead, or this person has made up the most spots in the last few races, or whatever, like how many poles they've won. Just like random storyline headers just to kind of make a little bit of a grounded world for yourself. I think it would add to a career mode and like make it feel like a story's building. And that kind of goes along with having a table of stats and stuff like that. So, you know, pole leaders, most fastest laps, along with the points leaderboard kind of stuff. And I don't know. And if it's a career mode, maybe that even carries over season to season. Maybe I'm getting a little too in-depth, a little ahead of my skis there. But, yeah. I just hope career mode's more like that and less like it's just a table of you unlocking new helmets and gloves and stuff, which I think could be in there along with it. But I don't view, like, boss battle to boss battle an actual career mode. Like, I hope it's like a season where you're trying to move up in the ranks type of a thing. If you get what I'm saying. I hope customization returns like Circuit Superstars in terms of customizing your own car and driver was amazing. Like you could do so much with the various paint scheme templates and the colors, and they gave you a bunch of different presets that you could load in when you're waiting on the lobby. Like it was so nice making your own identity and even having goof off cars and stuff. They did eventually, for Karting Superstars, make it so you could edit the AI, and that's how I have a bunch of funny, like, NASCAR driver names in here, like Zoe Gotta Go, like Joey Logano. But I wish that was in-game so that you didn't have to have the knowledge of, you know, editing text documents and stuff to make it happen. Like, it was a process getting everybody to have their actual car colors and their names. And they eventually brought that over to Circuit Superstars, too. I never did it because it wasn't worth the hassle for me, and I like the in-game drivers. But if that was in-game, that would be awesome. Even if you could, like, make permanent skill levels for them. So, like, you always know that this one dude is super fast, and if you beat, like, say, Zoe Gotta Go is, like, amazing all the time, and you beat Zoe Gotta Go in the championship, you're like, wow, I did it, or whatever. But as long as they're, like, if right now, if I make a championship mode and there's 5 races, at least they're consistent in those 5 races. So, like, you know who the head honcho is for that. But the next tournament, they're going to be randomized again. So that's what I'm talking about. I hope there's some night racing. Yeah, I know day to night cycle might be a little tough to make happen, but who knows? I don't know. Maybe it could. I don't know. I think there were some headlights on some of the cars in Circuit Superstars. There was not night racing in that game, but having the ability to have some, like, IMSA-style racing for endurance racing, which I think a part of the community would have definitely loved in Circuit Superstars, would be pretty cool and add some variety. That would be awesome. Let's see. What else do I want to talk about? I really, again, hope pits return, because there's no pits in this game, and I feel like it's noticed in terms of the gameplay fun. It is cool trying to, like, nail every lap and all of that. I keep forgetting. I don't think I have the speed boost on in this. What kind of settings did I use? I don't even know what I tried here. I must have accidentally jumped over to a preset when I set this up from before that update. But yeah, I hope pits return. And there was actually, now this isn't extremely important to me. Outside of there being damage, I hope there is damage to keep people honest, and, like, it's just fun. You know, you can also do funny things like our reverse races that we do sometimes with the bonks and stuff like that. But I hope they have if they have the time. Some visual feedback for damage would be cool, or even dirt or whatever. Like, you know, I love the fact that the track rubber's up. I don't think it really affects the racing at all, but in this game, but visually it looks so cool and tells the story of the race, and I would love to see a little bit of damage or visual feedback in terms of that, or the cars getting dirty or whatever. I don't know. Their fun fact was a visual or soft body car in Circuit Superstars. It's now part of it's the Top Gear DLC, which you cannot purchase anymore because the licensing doesn't work out. Didn't work out, but there was a malleable truck in there that I always thought was interesting and maybe could have potentially led to, you know, having a damage model in Circuit Superstars at some point or a next game. So you never know. They pulled it off with that truck, so the knowledge is there, I suppose. Yeah. Otherwise, I hope things like the customization that we have for custom races and tournaments, like I can set 10 races, I can set it to 500% draft or 300% damage in Circuit Superstars, and like I can do whatever I want with it. The tire wear I could adjust, the fuel, like I can make my own storyline and own seasons. Like I hope all that returns, and with new bells and whistles, like, you know, a stats leaderboard or whatever. Like it knows that you're making a season, so it has some season updates here and there or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, I'm excited. Again, a lot of this is just speculative and based off that release and what I would want to see. What would you like to see? I know some people want to see more cars. 12 cars seemed like a good amount for that top-down Circuit Superstars when it released. I would love to see more, obviously. I don't want to overcrowd the track, though. And sometimes the more AI brains you add onto the screen, the dumber they get. For example, I know that's with a lot of sim racers, like old sim racing games. If you add too many AI, they start making some pretty poor decisions and some questionable decisions. So I think at some point there's a limit there in terms of the processing power for how well the AI will drive. But I wouldn't mind seeing like a 16-car field or something like that. I think that would add something to some of the strategy and working through some lap traffic and so on. I hope that they make... Obviously, we had some competitive side of Circuit Superstars. Maybe some more attention to that in terms of the lobbies, like people being able to spectate so that they can commentate races and they don't have to be part of the race type of a thing. And they have this drop-down leaderboard so they know exactly what's going on and when people are pitting. I think that could help the game thrive even more. Like, we had the want for it in Circuit Superstars. There was plenty of leagues that would have loved that and had broadcasts of their races and stuff. So maybe that helps extend the life of whatever game they're making as well. Like it leads to a competitive scene or just a goofing around scene, which is both fun in its own aspect. But yeah, hopefully I didn't miss any of my points. iRacing's been interesting in terms of like spreading their wings. They obviously have the Outlaws game, which I think has turned out really well. They have the NASCAR 25 game coming out soon, this fall, I think it was, in September. I am absolutely looking forward to that. I hope I can get my hands on it. I really hope it comes to PC, because I don't have the latest Xbox, so fingers crossed on that. I don't know if that's officially announced or not. I know they brought the Outlaws game over to the PC, so hopefully that's a sign that they're looking at it. But I'm excited to try that out. iRacing, if you want to, you know, talk and we could do some previews and stuff in my small channel. I got a lot of racing fans. Just let me know. I hope the game turns out well. I'm pretty confident. I think as long as they have support, Original Fire Games will make a great game. Obviously, Karting Superstars that came after Circuit Superstars didn't get enough time to cook, really. But I thought there was a great base there, and it was still a lot of fun. Let me know what you think. What are you looking forward to? What do you hope happens? Do you want it to be top-down? Do you want to be behind the view? Hopefully my rambling made sense during all of this. Yeah, it was fun talking about it. I wish I made a video earlier, but here it is. It's here and now. Look at all the beautiful rubber on the track. That better make it in the new game too, please. Please. Please make the rubber still show up on the track. That's like my favorite part of Circuit Superstars. Low key. Hope you all do well. Leave a like and subscribe. Till next time. Peace out.